Well, hello. Welcome back to Wealth According to What You Know. We're continuously working to help families and individuals improve their financial lives and to build wealth and to live a life that is free from debt, free of stress, and free from worrying about money because we have put some things in place and our financial lives, are in order. And so today we're going to continuously walk this through as far as in what we're learning. Remember, our goal is to help hundreds of thousands of individuals to live a life free from financial lack, stress, and the burden of debt. We're committed to sharing and educating this audience so that they can go beyond just the normal, just barely getting by, and to live a life that makes life better for them and to live in a manner that is very fulfilling and not stressed and strapped with the daily toils and stresses of debt. And as I say oftentimes, there are several factors which influences your financial stability, but I believe one of the greatest ones, you have something to do about it, and that's educating yourself. Wealth according to what you know. Hello, my name is Raul Waltower. Thanks for being with us and being a part of us for this episode. We are going to continuously move forward, and today we want to begin to examine an area that a lot of individuals run from, they are afraid of. You say it's almost like it's a word that if you say it, many people will look for the exit doors. But I thank you for being here because you're not one that's going to run from it. Before we start, make sure that you go ahead and do us a favor and click on that subscribe button. Do us a favor and give us a like. Click that notification bell. Comment and share. It is important that you comment and share the video because the more you do it, the algorithm increases and more individuals be able to gain this information so that the masses will benefit from it. You know, we want to make a disclaimer here. We're not financial advisors. We're not tax accountants, but we're providing information that we believe that can help you, but you are required to make sure that you do your own DD, your due diligence. So let's look at this here. I always like to give this a little review as well. So these are the areas that we're going to be talking on and going details into. And so we're going to be talking about stewardship and educating ourselves. That's going to be one of the main topics. And then budgeting, that's where our focus is going to be on today, budgeting and creating a spending plan. And so all of these areas we're going to make sure that we touch on, go into detail. And if you have anything else you want us to talk about, feel free to give us that as well. So I ain't afraid of no budget. I'm not going to run from the budget. Oftentimes, people run from the budget because they don't like what the budget shows them. And so they run from that budget. But we're going to dive into it because we're going to learn some things today. And so, therefore, we're not afraid about it. One of the main things what a budget does, a budget helps you to map out where you are to where you want to be. Yes, if it's not good right now, it's not a good look. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see the negative numbers. We don't want to see that we're out of balance. But that's the starting point. And so if you were in Orlando, Florida, trying to make your way to Success, Missouri, yes, there's a place called Success, Missouri, you would pull out a map or GPS it or whatever it would be to help you get there. That's what the budget and a spending plan helps you do. It helps you map out a plan to get you from where you are to where you desire to be. And so when you take advantage of that and knowing that you now know a budget is not something to be afraid of, a budget is something that's going to let me know where I am today and going to help me get to where I want to be in the near future. And so, our budget spending plan that we want to discuss and talk about, we can learn a couple of things here. Number one is not as bad as you think. Regardless of where you are in life, it's not as bad as you think. And I know there's some dire situations. As we go on this channel, I'm going to share some things about my life where I was, several years ago, and I thought it was really bad. But you know what? With God's help, His guidance, teaching, education, it did get better. And now things are much different than where they were several years ago. Uh, Expense reduction strategies. We're going to be talking about that not so much in this video, but in an upcoming video, we're going to go into details and as to how to reduce your expenses, how to make that budget come into alignment as to where it needs to be. And I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised. I am going to share some personal stories as to what my wife and I did that made a great difference with our budgeting situation as well within our household. And so I'm going to share those things with you so that you can take advantage of it. So there are benefits in having a budget. And when you fill out a budget, there's a lot of benefits to it. It's not just something that you do just to go through this painful task, but a budget will help you be better prepared for any unforeseen items and expenses. It gives you greater discipline. A budget makes a plan for your money. A budget turns your money into employees because you get to tell them what they do. I've said this before in a previous video. If you don't assign your money, somebody else will. So you have to have a place for where your money needs to be. It helps you to know your yeses and your nos. What do I mean by that? If you have a budget and you know what your budget is, if someone comes along with a great idea or someone comes along and say, hey, I need for you to do this for me, you'll know automatically whether or not you're able to help them or not. And so it simplifies it. Your yeses and your nos. Yes, I can help you. No, I cannot help you because I'm living on a budget. And so I'm not in a position to do anything at the moment. So it helps you with your yeses and your nos. And therefore you don't commit to something and then later on, now you fall short on the other end. It keeps marriages and relationships in agreement because everyone has the same document in front of them and you have agreed this is how what we're going to do going forward. It's also a roadmap, as I said earlier, in reaching your goals. That's what a budget does. And then finally, it helps reduce stress. When you know what your budget is, it reduces the stress of trying to figure things out because everything is accounted for. So let's look at this here in a little bit more details here. When you create a budget, there's some things that you need to have in order to do that. Now we're going to walk through a scenario here momentarily and create a budget for Mr. and Miss Cool Cats. They want to come and to fill out a budget and a spending plan so that they can be a better steward and know how to handle the resources in which they have. Now, a budget in terms of how to create or complete a budget is real simple, really. There's two elements to it. One, total monthly income. So you add up all of your income that you have coming in on a monthly basis. Remember, everything is done on a monthly basis. And let's say, for example, Mr. and Miss Cool Cat is $3,700 a month between the two of them in which they're bringing in. Then you add up all of your expenses. What does it take to live? What is the cost of living? What are you spending money on? Now we're going to break these numbers down in details a little bit further so you can see the detailed items behind monthly expenses. And let's say they have monthly expenses of $2,800 a month. Well, you basically do the math here and subtract, and then you get a total monthly surplus or overage. Surplus meaning you are spending more than what your income is. Excuse me, you're spending less. You got more money left at the end of the month. Overage meaning you have spent more than what you should spend. And in this case, they have a surplus of $900 per month available. Now, a special bonus that we're offering again for all of those who subscribe to the channel. We're going to send you this budget form that I'm going to be sharing with you momentarily. And this is an excellent budget form. It's very easy to use, simplistic, and in a matter of minutes you can have your budget completed in a very seamless, harmful, and painless way. But in order to get this, you need to subscribe and send us an email to mywawyk, MYWAWYK at gmail.com. And once you do that, we will send you out this budgeting form in which I'll be sharing with you momentarily. So stick around as I now walk you through this budget form. Hello, and thank you for staying with us for this portion of the video. I want to share something with you I believe that's going to really help you. We're going to look at a budget and expending plan for Mr. and Mrs. Cool Cat. But what I'm showing you is something that you really can use yourself. Again, we are offering this for all subscribers who would subscribe and send us an email at mywawyk, that's MYWAWYK at gmail.com. and we'll be sure to send this out to you. This budget form is very easy and simple. It's automated. It's going to do, I would say, 90% of the work for you. All you need to do is just provide the data into it, and it's going to do some amazing things for you. Let's look at this here and let's walk through this so you know how to use it and how to create a budget, and you'll see how easy this is to use. And this is really the process that you would go to create a budget for yourself. Now, on this budget form, this first page you land on, we're going to call it the budget dashboard. It's a dashboard that's going to give you all of the summary numbers of everything that you're going to put in on another page here. And so on this page here, on this top area, you can put your name. You can call it family budget, your last name, or whatever you want to put there. It's completely up to you. And then the scenario field is highlighted in yellow. This budget form allows you to create two different budgets and then it will do comparisons between those two budgets. And we're going to explain that coming up here. And so basically what you want to do, the first thing to get anything, as you can see, everything is zero. There's no data, no graphs, no charts because no data has been entered yet. So what you'll do is when you receive this form after sending that email, is that you're going to go down here at the bottom and click on the worksheet tab titled Scenario 1. And when you select there, you'll come here and this is where you would enter your data. Now the benefit of these two different scenarios, Scenario 1, you can use that data screen to input all of your budget as it exists today. And then perhaps use scenario 2 to say, what would the budget look like if we were to change some things around, if we got rid of some expenses, if we took in more income, how would that budget look? And then you can do a comparison between the two. Now, in both of these budget forms, scenario 1 and scenario 2, what's highlighted in blue, you have the ability to update. So if you wanted to change these names and call them something else, put your name here instead of where it just says spouse 1 and spouse 2, you're totally free to do that. And of course, this column represents all of the values relating to this. Now, when you're submitting a budget, doing a budget, you want it to be based on monthly income. So you may have to do a little bit of math depending upon how you get paid. Just calculate that yearly total, divide it by 12, and then that would give you your monthly total. If you get paid, for example, on a weekly basis, then just multiply that by 4.2, and that'll give you your monthly average spread out over the 12 months. So let's walk through this and see what this looks like for Mr. and Miss Cool Cat. They both are working. Mr. Cool Cat, he works. He makes about $3,700 a month. Miss Cool Cat, she also works. She does about $4,200 per month. They have no other sources of income. They are charitable givers, and they give to their church, for example. And so in this case here, they do about $900 a month in gifts to the church, and about $75 other charitable giving. Federal tax. Now, oftentimes they take money out of the tax. So this total that you have up top for the income, you want that to be your gross income before they take out any taxes, any insurance, because we're going to account for those in a separate place in our spreadsheet. So here you want to look at your pay stub. If you're an employee, if you're a business owner, then you want to figure out what your yearly tax is, divide it by 12, and that's roughly your monthly tax. So let's just say that they have a monthly tax of about $2,000. Their state tax about $750 per month, and then they have investments. They're contributing to their Roth. He's doing about 125. She's doing 150. Let's see, they got high yield savings that they put $75 a month in. They have a 401k. The total between the two, they're doing about $300. They don't have an HSA. I'm going to explain HSAs coming up. Health savings account. You definitely want to be there because there's great advantages in that. We want to make sure that you take advantage of that. I'm going to scroll down using the bar over to the far right hand side, and then we'll see the general expenses. And this is where we want to come in and enter all of our data in terms of where we're spending money. So they have a mortgage that they're paying about $2,200 a month on their mortgage. Their food bill is about $400 per month. Auto maintenance, let's say 75 a month. They have health insurance that they're paying $750 a month for. Homeowners insurance, it's included in the mortgage, so we won't put it here. If you're paying it separately, you can enter that right here at this moment. Auto insurance between the two vehicles in which they have, they're paying about $250 per month. And I'm not going to put everything in here, but just throw some value in here so that we could get an idea to see what this budget form is going to look like. And you're going to see how easy it is. So all I'm doing is just putting in the number that would relate to Mr. and Miss Cool Cat. And you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to just plug in the numbers that relates to you so that you can be very detailed. The more detailed you are, the more accurate your budget is, and you'll be able to really see um, what your numbers actually look like. They spend about $200 a month on eating out. They love to travel. Their yearly travel breaks down to about $300 per month, uh, and they spend money on gifts, grandchildren, children, things of that nature, which comes out about 500 a month. And they also have debts, credit cards, student loans, all of those debts, department store cards, room to go, all of these things. This is where you would enter all of those debts. Now, this is not the total, but this is what you're doing on a monthly basis. Remember, the budget is calculated on a monthly basis. So everything should equate to monthly numbers. So in this case here, all of their debts, student loans, credit cards, they're paying about $740 per month to service all of that debt. Then we want to just throw another $150 here just in case we forgot anything. So down here you see the general expense total of $5,890. You subtract their income, which we input up top, which their total income was $7,900. And then once we do that, uh, we now have a negative balance of $565 negative. Now let's go jump back over to our um, dashboard to see what this looks like. Oh, wow. Look at there. We got some things populated here. So our first scenario, it highlights in red if we're in the negative. If they happen to be in green, meaning they had a surplus and not a shortfall, this would be green. It gives them their total expenses, not just the general expenses, but the total expenses. So that would be they're giving the taxes, the investments, plus the general expenses totals $8,465. It also gives them the percentage breakdown. Now here for income, it's 107.2%. We say, why is the income more than 100%? This represents how much of their income is being spent. So in essence, they're spending 7.2% over budget. So they're 7.2% over budgeted. And so giving is represents about 12.3% and so forth. You can see the general expenses is taking up 74.6%. These again the values in the total for scenario one. If we had anything in scenario two, that would be there and it would give you the difference between scenario one and scenario two here. These numbers are all negative now because we have not entered anything in negative two. So this is what their budget looks like today. This is how it looks. Now here we have some nice cool graphs we can look at. It gives some people a very visual. They want to see it in a visualization. So this shows us that their greatest expense is general expenses. The general expenses taking up about 70% of their budget. And then we also have a bar chart here that shows you, it just gives you the same thing, but just in a different look in terms of the amount of money of what each category is. If we had anything in scenario two, we'll see red bars representing scenario two. Now let's go on here very quickly here. Now down here is in the area where we have a breakdown. Now before, we at the top it was just giving us the high level categories: income, taxes, investments, general expense. Now it's actually breaking down each of those items so you can see the details. So I really love this here because if you want to just see just a portion of it up top, you want to see the details, you can look here. And now here we can see all the items that we entered in general expenses. We have them all right here for us. If we scroll down just a little bit more, we'll now see that there's some other charts and graphs here. Now this is again is showing you the breakdown of all expenses, all expenses. So for example, their state tax is taking up about 9%, 4% of their income. Their Roth IRA is taking up about 9%. So everything's color coordinated. So the colors on the pie chart represents the colors on our labels. So you can see what's the greatest expense that we have. And then down here again, same format, same information, but just in bar form. Now that we've seen this here, let's now go and see what it would look like if we entered data in scenario two. So in scenario two, they decided that we got to bring in more income. So he's going to do 4,700. He went and got a new job. She also changed jobs as well, increased her income. They also have a rental property that they picked up that's bringing in $800 after all expenses are paid. He's also going to do some Uber driving on the weekends. That's going to total about $250 a month. They're still going to give, so they're giving about $1,150 a month. Do some charitable giving as well. The federal tax, in terms of what they're paying, uh, about 1,200 a month in taxes, about 900 for state tax. Their Roth, they're going to contribute a little bit more than what they were before. I believe it is. I'm kind of pulling all these numbers off my head here, but it really doesn't matter in this example here. So other investments, $200. They're contributing 500 to their high yield savings account. They both combined are doing 700 in their Roth. Um, and then the HSA, they finally got the HSA going after listening to Wealth According to Your Knowledge video. And now let's go down to general expenses. So the home, $2,300 for the home. Food, about $500 a month. Auto expense. I'm just going to just throw some quick numbers in here. Health insurance, $750 a month. Homeowners insurance, that was included in the mortgage, so I'm not going to put that here. And let's see, what else do we have here? I don't know, home um, alarm system, 45 a month, $30 for garbage, 150 for health and vitamins, eating out, 200. They decided they're going to cut down on eating out as much, cut that down to 150. They're not going to travel as often, and they're going to cut back on some of the gifts in which they do as well. And the debt right now, because they haven't done anything to get the debt under control, we're going to just put the same amount in here for debt. I believe I had 750 there, and then another $150 for just in case. Now, let me go and back down their some of these investments. So let's just say 250 in the Roth. Now, just want to change a few numbers here. Okay, so now by those changes, they have a difference of about $90 surplus. Now let's go back to the budget form now. So now we see here, we're still in scenario one, which means all of the underlying data is still pointing to scenario one, but we do have some data in this column here that says scenario two. This gives us the total from this worksheet tab we just filled out down here at the bottom. Okay, now if we, and we can see the difference now between scenario one and scenario two, that they're now making $2,850 more. They are giving $475 more. They Their taxes, they're paying more in taxes. It shows you the amount in taxes, and they decrease their general expenses by $730. So that is the real advantage in this worksheet, this form. What it does is that you can track two budgets at the same time. Now, if I want to look at the data for scenario two, I come back up here, I highlight this, I hit my drop down, I select scenario two, and watch what happens to everything on the screen. Voila. All the values in these charts now represent scenario two. We now have data, and now we can see scenario one in the blue, scenario two in the red, and in comparison side by side. And also note here, because we have a surplus, this area is now painted green. Remember, if we go back here to scenario one, hit our drop down, go back to scenario number one, it's red. So they've made some adjustments, and instead of being $565 out of budget, they are now in budget and have an extra an extra $90 per month to deal with. So please take advantage of this spreadsheet. I think is very valuable. You're going to gain a lot from it. Please stick around with us as we complete this video that we were just sharing with you. Thank you so much. Well, welcome back. Wasn't that exciting to see that budget form? And remember, that could be yours just by simply subscribing and sending us an email so that you can take advantage of that form. I want to talk about something now in terms of how to improve your budget. So let's say you fill out this form and you realize that you're in the negative. Your top color was not green, it was red. What do you do? Now, I'm going to show you in a simplistic way what you need to do in order to bring things in order. And in a later video, we're going to go in more detail in terms of what those items are. When I mean details, I'm going to share some things with you that you probably may not have thought of, but if you can make certain adjustments, it's going to make a drastic difference. In order to improve your budget bottom line, There's only really two things you can do. One, you either create and add income, or you have to reduce and eliminate your monthly obligations. That's how you improve the bottom line. So either bring in more income so that you would have more. So the greater the income, then it's going to increase your bottom line, your surplus, and reduce or eliminate debt and monthly debt obligations, getting rid of credit cards, getting rid of expenses that are unneeded. And as I said, in the next video that we drop, we're going to go into detail of all of these items so that you can go line by line and check in your life to see what can you get rid of, what can you help, what adjustments can you make, and see what benefit it's going to have in your life and in your budget. So again, keep this in mind. You We're following through these building blocks to success, ready, set, go, and then you've already done that step, and then you create a roadmap. You understand what your win is. If you're not sure what a win is, please look at a previous video. I'm going to put that down in the description. The previous video that we did on are you winning or losing the interest game. That's a very helpful video to you as well. And so as you begin to go through this here and you begin to make changes, you're looking at the different programs in your life to see what can you change, what can you reduce. As you go through the process, you are building a building block that is going to lead you to success and lead you to a life that wherein you're not stressed out nor worried about money and or anything. And so this is what we want to see. And so today we're talking about budgeting. And just to give you just a quick high level in how to create a budget, please send off for that link so that we can send you that budget form as well, so that you will know what to do. And remember, you want to make sure that you can utilize in your budget, because when you have a budget, your budget tells your money how to work. They become your employees. Every item become an employee for you. So just imagine an office that you are the business owner of, which is your budget, and you're sending your dollars to work for you. Remember, if you don't assign your dollars, somebody else will do it. Well, I really appreciate you being with us today. Let's take a quick summary. One of the things, the benefits of a budget is having a budget has benefits when we create out a budget. A budget is an easy plan that we can use. The spreadsheet that we have available, the budget spreadsheet, just send off for that so we can send that out to you. The basics to improve a budget and a spending plan, basically two ways: increase income, reduce expenses. We're going to be talking about that in our next video. And budgeting gives your money an assignment. So please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share on this video so that you can stay in contact with us and follow us together so that we all can walk towards this journey of being free and living a life that we want to live. You know, I believe in prayer, and I would like to pray for you at this moment. Dear Father, in Jesus Christ's name, we come, Lord God, thanking you for blessing us to be good stewards of what you have given us. And we thank you, Lord God, for the tool of budgeting. That as we begin to walk through the process to figure out what our budget is and what adjustments that we can make, that Father, you will be able to trust us with even more. We'll be able to give you an account for what we have and to where every dollar of it is going. And so, Father, I pray for every person watching this video that you would give them the discipline, that you would give them the desire, and that you would give them everything that they need to walk in this area to be a good and faithful servant and steward of you. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, thank you again for being with us, and please make sure you stay with us as we continue to walk this journey of becoming debt free and financially free. God bless you. Have a great day and Happy New Year.